back. We talked last weekend.
Yeah, we did.
But the more aware listeners will think, hey, there was no episode last weekend. That's true. That's because my recording was corrupted. And I had just a recording of my voice, which would have been really funny to put out, like just release my responses to you.
Yeah.
And talking. That would be great, but I did not do that.
Yeah.
So we're here again. I think we'll probably touch on some of the same things, but the quick version, and I think more importantly, there's actually like new stuff to talk about.
Yeah. I have some new stuff I definitely want to talk about.
Excellent.
And then, so in regards to the lost content.
Yeah.
How are you wanting to like?
Let's do this, because here I'll just quickly say we talked about Jedi Survivor, which I was in the process of finishing.
Yeah.
As we were recording, which could have contributed to why it was corrupted. Like I literally just left the game paused and running while we recorded a 2.5 hour podcast. So that could have contributed. And when I say it like this, you're like, yeah, fucking of course. But I mean, I don't know. At the time I was like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then we talked about this. They didn't call it State of Play, did they? What did they call it? Actually, we didn't even we didn't even talk about this. The Showcase, Sony Showcase, is that what it was?
Is that what it's called? It's the one they only do once a year. So yeah, maybe PlayStation Showcase or something. Yeah.
PlayStation Showcase. So we talked about that, and we don't need to go step by step through it the way we did last week. But I'll say this: we were not impressed. I mean, like, there was some good stuff, but it wasn't like we were blown away.
My main takeaway was that I was pleasantly surprised and that I was expecting less, honestly. And I saw more things that I liked than I wanted to, but there was a lot of the just teaser trailer with really nothing there type beat. And that's the type of shit we don't want to see. But again, shout out to the marathon teaser. That went hard. I've been listening to Heavy Metal Remix like all week.
that was going to be, I think, that and Metal Gear Solid were like the two things I would say were worth really talking. And I guess Alan Wake, but like
Alan Wake trailer was really good.
Alan Wake trailer was extremely good. I can't wait to see some gameplay of that. Supposedly we're going to get some here in the next month or so.
Yeah.
And then
Helldivers.
Yeah, Helldivers 2 looks really good. That trailer was really great as well. They did show some gameplay in that too, and it looks pretty solid, although frame rate a little shaky.
Yeah.
But plenty of time to iron that out.
Yeah.
Marathon, though, kind of stole the show for me just by being the most visually, and as you said about the Heavy Metal Remix, audio. It was an audio visual treat.
It really was. Yeah. It was pure vibes.
I keep thinking about it.
Yeah, me too.
Which means it's a good trailer, but whether or not it pans out into a good extraction shooter is another thing.
Something I don't think I realized when we talked about it last week. Does that mean it's a Tarkov-like game?
That's what they're implying. So like Tarkov, or that first, the Division 1 had that multiplayer mode where you went into the dark zone and tried to like get some loot and then extract with it.
Okay.
So it could be that kind of thing, but yes, Tarkov is a good analog. The thing about, I don't know, that genre of thing is that, like, you know, the whole idea is that you carry in some gear with the risk of losing that gear, right?
Yeah.
That's Tarkov. Now the Division was more like what you carry in, you don't lose, but what you gain while you're there, you lose if you die. So yeah, there's a lot of things that it could be. I think that genre is still like very tenuously defined, but yeah, the gist is PvP focused. So I don't know. I think the thing that disappoints me the most about that is when you watch that trailer, you're like, wow, what good art direction, what a good world design. I mean, it doesn't scream marathon to me, but
right.
But they spent all that time on those aspects, which are things that you're not focusing on in a PvP shooter.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. The streaming handheld we talked about, Project Q.
Yeah.
Which looks fine.
Yeah, we'll see. Once we know what it does and the price, that'll honestly determine how I feel about it. If it's, which is kind of what I said before, if it's close to 100 and it's not doing much and just streaming your console, that's not horrible. If it's closer to 300 and that's all it does, that's horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. No one's going to buy a $300, and I think they know that. I think they did know that. I mean, it's not even an OLED screen; it's an LCD screen.
Oh, that's confirmed now. Damn.
1080p.
Okay.
1080p 60 FPS, 8-inch LCD. So, I mean, it's got to be around $100. You can get, I mean, these days you can get a decent LCD screen. You can get a decent LCD TV that does 1080p for $100.
Yeah.
So they must know. By the way, this is I'm looking at this recap per The Verge. So if any of that is wrong, yell at The Verge, not me.
Yeah, on God.
I'm taking a single source and turning it into gospel. So
yeah.
Yeah, and then Metal Gear Solid Remake. I mean, the bigger thing, like we said with the Metal Gear Solid Remake, like we said in the lost tapes, is they chose the earliest point in the timeline to remake first, which fair enough. Metal Gear Solid 3 is pretty divisive among fans, so that's funny, I think, but it's my favorite, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I've always viewed it as like a fan favorite. Like most people, that's like their touch point or starting point for like MGS is like 3. That's like how they learned about it or the most they know. I mean,
I had a PS1 demo disc with Metal Gear Solid 1 on it when I was like 5 years old that I played 300 times, and it's literally just the first hour ish of that game. And so I ended up playing Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 all kind of in order of release, and even then I still think 3 is my favorite. But some people don't like, I don't know, people think that franchise got sillier as it went on, and that's definitely true. And 3 being one of the more silly ones, with like a guy who spits hornets out of his mouth. But I don't know. I think it's cool.
I like it. Cool. Yeah, I like it.
So I don't know, man. If a man controlling hornets isn't what you want from video games, then we are not gonna get along. I think. But more importantly than that, they also announced at the same time that they're gonna port all those Metal Gear Solid games to modern platforms. So not just PlayStation, it's also coming to Xbox.
That's good
as well.
Yeah.
The remake actually is also, which I think is interesting. I don't know that we talked about that last time.
No,
the remake. It's PC, Xbox, and PS5.
Simultaneous release as well.
You know what? There's not enough. I don't even think they gave a release date, so who knows?
Oh,
but I would assume
it's probably not even close.
I'm gonna guess we're at least a year away from that. I would think, like maybe next summer being kind of
I could see that just because of how long we were hearing about it. Like the rumors that was being made were going around for a while. So I would think, it's probably been being developed for a minute.
Yeah, and
sorry. You know what I found out recently? That fucking Anthem was developed within like a 12 to 15 month time span.
I too read that article. Well, I think it was less that it was developed within that time span and more that they had scrapped it and started over in that time span because...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because I think when Anthem... I love how we're like the preeminent Anthem podcast. Like we talk about Anthem like every fucking episode.
I love Anthem, so that's no surprise here.
Anthem announcements... I don't even know what. I'm curious. So released 2019, which that actually feels a lot more recent than I was thinking. Is that true?
That sounds correct.
2019?
Yeah.
That can't be right. I mean, it is, but I'm saying that more as like a...
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember like it had to have been because I got my PS4 Pro before Anthem, and I remember thinking I was lucky I had one because that game ran like shit otherwise. Like it ran well for me, but I remember all my friends that had a normal PS4 couldn't play it.
I think if we do revive Co-op Compatriots, we should just play through Anthem.
I'm not even shitting you. I do that like every year. I get somebody who hasn't played Anthem because it's on sale for like $5 all the time. And I'm like, you should buy that and we'll have a good time. And then we do.
I think I have played it I think I saw credits in Anthem, but in case I didn't, we'll do that. This, according to this, which I mean, it does have a source.
I love Anthem so much.
BioWare announces new IP. Anthem is the source. They started it right after Mass Effect 3 in 2012, but it went through
a
number of revisions over the course of that time. So the final version of Anthem, whatever we got there at the end, was pretty much the 12 to 15 months was my understanding. So yeah,
it's such a waste of a good like flying sim. Yeah, at the very least, like I think a lot of parts of that game are solid and good, but at the very least, I think everyone that's played it can agree the flying is like phenomenally done. And just being able to explore the map with such a fluid and well-made flight system.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the lead writer was also Drew Karpyshyn, which is the main guy who did some of the best writing for BioWare over the years, like Baldur's Gate 2, Neverwinter Nights.
Is so bad.
KOTOR
Except
1.
For like a few moments. It does have its moments, but like just as a whole, I mean, it's a really it's a letdown from BioWare, which I hold
absolutely
in high regard. Yeah,
I mean the same guy who wrote Mass Effect 1, or not wrote. I mean, a lot of people wrote Mass Effect 1, but one of the lead writers on Mass Effect 1 also was one of the lead writers on Anthem, which is something weird happened there.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry for the detour.
No, you're fine. Something I was just thinking about, actually, is, do you remember hearing about the Metal Gear Solid 3 pachinko machine that they released in Japan?
Yeah.
Do you think they're using the same art? Like... Because, like, I don't know if you ever saw that pachinko machine, but it has, like fully rendered like characters and cutscenes and stuff.
Oh, I guess I'm not well informed. I knew about the machine. I didn't know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, it's like it has like a video screen on it that plays like 3D renderings of Metal Gear Solid 3, but modern. Like this is the reason that people thought this remake was coming for a long time. That pachinko machine came out like 5 years ago
with a bunch
it had better graphics than like, you know, MGS4, you know, or whatever. Like
right.
So I wonder if they're just pulling some of the art from that. They also announced that they're keeping the same voice recordings from the original one. They're not doing any re-recordings.
Okay. I'm relatively fine with that.
I mean, yeah, the only thing that bums me out about that is that I guess it means the cast doesn't get paid again, which kind of sucks.
That's a weird loophole.
I would think the way actors get treated in this industry, it probably means they don't get paid again because they don't have to record anything else, I suppose.
I think it probably will all depend on what was agreed upon at the time, you know? Like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
If in whatever, you know, deal or job, you know, if it's in writing that like, oh, if we use these again for a separate product, we have to compensate you, or if it's just getting paid for the recording and then they own it and can do whatever they want with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it does depend on, but I mean, like the power for voice actors to negotiate in this industry is pretty poor from what I understand.
Yeah, you have to like do that at the time. That's kind of what I mean is like, if they didn't go out of their way to make sure they were covered in that regard, then they're probably not getting paid again.
But not only that, but like, I mean, think about the level, like only the most famous of the voice cast at that time would have even been able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like would have had the power to control that. So
yeah, that's some like Nolan North, Troy Baker type level. Yeah.
Negotiation. Yeah.
Right.
Like maybe David Hayter at that point in time had the power to do that. But otherwise, yes, I agree. I'm fine with that. I mean, the voice acting in that game is amazing.
It makes me wonder though, how much of it is going to be just purely visual. Like what if it is just the same game with a complete full HD look, sort of Demon Souls style?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too. I didn't even consider that. Especially
because like, you know, the bigger part of the Demon Souls update was, I mean, obviously it's kind of a bummer and emulation still exists, but it's kind of a bummer the artistic changes that were made, right? Like atmospheric. Like some people didn't like that stuff.
Yeah, I've heard a decent bit of people say that. I've always wondered if that's like a loud minority or if people in general are actually really bothered by it, because I'm just so taken away by how good it looks. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe the statue is like giving a different vibe, or this has like a different pattern on it now, or like what, you know, whatever it is that is important, you know, set design and stuff like that by FromSoft is all like pretty intentional usually. So it's just like, you don't want things to be changed, but it just looks so fucking good. Like I don't care. Like, God, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm part of the group that is disappointed that stuff changed, but also I value the stability of frame rate and the fidelity above that.
Yeah.
Personally. So that'll be the version that I play now, even though I have the copy of the PS3 copy on my shelf here somewhere. But yeah, I mean it's I think if they did something like that, I would be okay with it for the MGS remake. I think I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
Like just the same game, but here you go. Here's some more stability, maybe a few little Easter egg changes and things like that. But otherwise, yeah, that's it. So I don't know. That's that. A couple things that came out since the showcase as well is Alan Wake 2 is not going to be on a disc. You see that?
No.
They're not releasing a physical version at all. Yeah.
I wonder what data specifically supported that, because at the beginning of the new console era, the data supported that physical copies were still selling by majority. So I wonder if that's now shifted, or if they're trying to, help shift it, or what. That's interesting.
Yeah. I saw some figures out there supporting that, like the split may be as little as like 50-50 these days, or 60-40, which is still a substantial amount. So I think that if that's even true, they should still release a disc. I mean, are you really going to potentially cut 50% of your audience just to save on physical manufacturing costs or whatever? I mean, I don't know.
I guess it is kind of like one of those games where it's like the fans of Alan Wake that want an Alan Wake 2 are not going to be like stopped by having to go buy it digitally. They're going to want Alan Wake 2 regardless. So maybe that's kind of part of it. Maybe they just kind of know what they have, and the people that want it are going to get it.
I
don't know.
Alan Wake 1 was not, it sold okay. It wasn't like a hit.
Right.
I mean, it was, I don't really think after Max Payne 1 and 2, I don't really think Remedy had a hit until Control.
Yeah, I didn't even know they made Quantum Break until Control came out.
Yeah, I mean, then that was easily their weakest, and really only because they insisted on the TV show angle, I think, which is just such a poor choice. But anyway, I mean, it was a fun idea. They just TV shows.
You never know when you're going to shatter the mold, man. You never know.
That's true, I guess. Yeah, TV shows are bad, but not in a way that's always fun. And who, like, we're not here to relitigate Quantum Break, but who thinks it's fun to put the controller down for 25 minutes straight? You know what I mean? Like, consistently also. It's like, okay, 2 hours of game, 25 minutes of nothing. You know what I mean? Like, whereas, like, I mean, okay, maybe a Metal Gear Solid game might.
I was just about to say, have you ever played Metal Gear Solid?
I have, but it's not consistent like that, right? It'll be like 20 minutes, then 5, then 4, then 1, whatever. I mean, it's
then an hour.
It fluctuates. Yeah, then 40 hours of especially Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. So that's enough of that. Showcase overall fine. Since then, some things have some news has come out that I think we should talk about.
Okay.
Let's talk about another remake. The Knights of the Old Republic 1 remake that everyone at this point believes is pretty much canceled.
I mean, until I see evidence otherwise.
Yeah, I think last we heard about it really openly in the news was that that investor meeting where a build of it was shown, and then investors fired Aspire Media. I don't know, whatever. Embracer Group's Aspire.
It should not have been given to them, just straight up. It should have been given to any other team more equipped to develop something that big and that ambitious.
Well, the story goes that the reason that the executives turned it down was because it was too much of an RPG. The Aspire build that they saw was too faithful to the original, and they didn't like that. They wanted something that would have more mass appeal, more action. So that was, so they took it away and gave it to another developer. Who is the new?
I didn't realize they officially did that. I thought they had just kind of said, we don't like your version. I didn't realize they had.
Yeah, in August of, now I don't think it was official. Like all of this is rumors, like the board meeting included.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jason Schreier is like the one who reported on most of the
he's
stuff, so it's like,
he's legit.
KOTOR remake reportedly changes developer to Saber Interactive.
Okay.
And that was August of 2022.
That team sounds familiar. What did they do?
They've been a support studio on a lot of stuff, but what was the last thing? Let's see. World War Z.
Okay, I actually really like that game, but
I do too.
That's interesting.
A lot of people. I played that game with Tyler and Merced and Sean and like
what? Damn,
Tyler and
I miss
Sean. I don't know, but we didn't. We played it for like 2 hours. I think B Paul was actually there as well. They all hated it except for me. I wasn't able to convince them to continue playing it.
Huh.
So I think we played it on Game Pass. They also did Space Marine, apparently.
Huh. Wow.
I guess. Okay. Or they're just doing Space Marine 2.
Okay, yeah.
Which, that actually concerns me. Who did Space Marine 1? And why can't I remember?
Yeah.
That's weird. I liked Space Marine. Notably, Saber Interactive also owned by the Embracer Group. So
who is
Aspire? Yeah, true. 4A Games, Aspire, Tripwire Interactive. There's a bunch of studios now owned by Embracer Group. Apparently, Saber Interactive also developed Time Shift.
That's a classic.
Remember Time Shift?
Yeah, I actually really liked that game.
I did too.
I only played it for like a couple hours, but I was really impressed with it. I don't think I beat it. Or it was only a couple hours long. One of the two. Games back then were really short, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Notably, they were the developers of Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Which people didn't like. Because if you remember, that was similar to Demon's Souls, but maybe even more drastic. They changed all the art direction. And everyone was really pissed about that.
I didn't even notice. I mean, I played the fuck out of that. I think I just turned my brain off to that kind of stuff. Like,
well,
it would have to be something like Bloodborne, where I feel like it is its identity so hard that like changing stuff like that in a HD remake would actually really piss me off. But otherwise, like, I love Halo and I love its vibe and I love its like artistic direction and stuff like that. But in the HD anniversary version for 1 and 2, I didn't even notice any like changes that would have bothered me. I was just like, damn, this looks better. Fuck yeah.
2 was a lot better.
Okay. That shit looks good too.
I remember playing 1 and just keeping it on the old graphics because they ran better, which was really funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
And that could have been, I mean, I think I played that split screen, so it could have been because of that. Who knows? Yeah, Saber Interactive's worked on a lot of shit, mostly as a support studio as well. They made all those like Mud Runner and Snow Runner games, where you play like a car trapped in the snow or mud and you like winch your way out. Remember that shit?
No.
Christ, no, really? Dude, it's like a whole thing. It's like a serious, look it up on Steam. It's like one of those games that exists on Steam that's like massively popular that you just never would think anyone would care about.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are everywhere. They were okay. Their last game was Gloomhaven, apparently.
That's a good game. I mean, I don't know how much I can, I guess, speak for its like video game design. It's a board game that they made into a video game, and the board game is really good.
Does this game include games that they? Okay, no, it does have a separate category for developed and published. They publish a lot of stuff. They develop a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's just weird. Space Marine, Evil Dead the game.
Wow. Yeah, they're all over the place, damn.
Yeah. Ports and different things. Yeah, anyway. So, but the other big thing that's happening at Embracer Group's Aspire is that they canceled the restored content DLC for KOTOR 2 on the Switch.
What do you mean?
They were like, so the restored content DLC was supposed to be a patch for the Nintendo Switch version.
Yeah, I thought it already happened.
I thought it did too, but it turns
when
out
we talked about it and I looked it up, it had already been released according to people.
No, apparently that's not true, and they canceled it. It had been released. Sorry, let me rephrase. Aspire had released that patch for some of the other versions of the game. So, other ports that they did, for KOTOR 2, that patch exists. Only the Switch version didn't have it yet, and then now they're canceling it. So,
I wonder why. Interesting.
Yeah, they put out an official statement on Twitter, and first of all, they'd like to thank the KOTOR community for their immense passion and support for the KOTOR series. Which,
amen.
Thank you.
Goddamn
thank you
right.
for finally. I'm glad to be finally recognized for my immense passion and support for the KOTOR series, because I've been its longest running. What's that meme that's like if KOTOR has 1 million fans. Whatever, if KOTOR has 1 fan, that's what is it?
You're butchering it. I don't know.
You know what I mean, though. You understand what I'm talking about.
I think so. I could
know your meme.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Say.
Okay, it was apparently a picture of a person shirtless. If X has 1 million fans, I'm one of them is a copy paste and phrasal template in which a diehard fan of a famous person declares that they will remain their fan to their very last breath. So that's me. So if KOTOR has 1 million fans, I'm one of them. If KOTOR has 5 fans, I'm one of them. If it has 1 fan, that one is me. If it has no fans, I'm no longer alive. If the world is against KOTOR, I'm against the entire world.
Noted. Hell yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, yes. So they put out this statement and they basically just say that it's canceled. But here's the funnier part. We'd like to thank everyone for their continued support by providing a complimentary video game key to players who purchase KOTOR 2 on Switch. So help me decide what I should get. Yeah,
because I bought it for that fucking update for the Switch, and I guess it doesn't exist now. So
yeah, so you get a Steam key for KOTOR 2.
Okay.
You can have KOTOR 1 on Switch. You can have The Force Unleashed on Switch. 1, not 2, weirdly. I don't know why. You can have Republic Commando on Switch, which I would not recommend. I have that version.
I was about to say that's the most tempting one.
I mean, it runs fine, but shooters on the Switch are just not good.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, those joysticks are an affront to God.
Yeah.
Episode 1 Racer, which is what I'll take. Jedi Knight Academy and Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast on Switch. So
those are kind of tempting. I haven't finished those.
Yeah. You can play those not as a shooter if you want.
Right.
And I would on the Switch I would very much recommend it. Here we go. Top comment on this Twitter post 15 hours ago. Jake James Lugo, who is verified. According to his profile, he's a writer, video creator, and podcaster. So, same, brother. A shame to see this happen. Hopefully everyone can choose one of those Star Wars games there and enjoy. Thank you. He's so right.
Yeah. Spot on.
Nailed it. What else is there to say?
I just am confused. I wonder what happened. There must have been some huge issue where they were just like, yeah, that would take a lot of time to figure out. So
Yeah, and the discourse online has been that ever since Aspire had the KOTOR remake pulled from them, that shit has just been bad out there.
Hmm.
That's all hearsay. I mean, so who fucking knows? But
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad we just dedicated 30 minutes to that.
I like how my virtual Discord background lighting is like matching the lighting in real life, like beaming onto me.
That's true. That's true. Since we don't record video of this, but maybe we will start.
I'm recording
someday.
video of us right now.
I mean, I always record video of it, but I mean, I can't show it. What is that going to look like? It's like me looking at news stories on Google on one side of the monitor and then looking at our faces on the other.
Yeah.
Yes,
But,
Crossley has a backdrop set up, so I cannot dox him by seeing his surroundings.
You just see a lot
house.
of magic cards behind me, so, and a blender.
I believe you. I actually believe that, like, your wallpaper and everything is just magic cards you can't use in tournament anymore. It's just
Very
like
specific.
Your entire house is just like you've upholstered everything in magic cards.
Yeah, I just live in cardboard.
Yeah. There's like remember in the Dark Knight when he burns the pile of money that's like 2 stories tall. That's like there's just a pile of magic cards behind you.
Yeah, that's funny. So, are you ready to talk about Succession? Or
oh fuck yeah, we got to do that, huh? All right, okay.
We got to do that.
Let's get it out of the way.
All
right, you go first.
Good episode. I don't like how it ended, but at the same time, you know, what was really going to happen, I guess. I don't,
Why don't you like how it ended?
Specifically, I don't like how Shiv did it until they're like kind of arguing, and then it's like really obvious he's pushing Shiv further and further away with every fucking thing he says is like getting Shiv closer and closer to saying no to to them winning.
Yeah.
And so it's like I like once they start sort of like arguing about it. I just kind of almost wish, I don't know how they could have done it differently, really, though. I don't know. Or I wish they would have more set up that maybe Shiv was on the fence until that moment, because up until then, it's like, okay, yeah, Shiv wants to beat the dude that dropped her. She wants to beat Tom, who now has the thing she was going to get and is like going, to be Madsen's like, number one or whatever. It's like, okay, she wants to beat Tom because she's sick of Tom. She wants to beat the dude because he dropped her. She, doesn't necessarily want the brothers to be in control, but it's like her best shot at being in the loop at all. So there was just no point in between her deciding to side with Kendall and stuff and then her not doing that, where we get like a scene where she's sort of doubting it, or like, I don't know. There was just like it almost would have been like if the Asian dude would have showed up at the end and took it all. There would have been no setup for that, so I wouldn't have liked it.
Well, they mentioned him a few times by name. I don't know if you know.
And when they did that, I was like, no fucking way they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just I just feel like it didn't make sense, other than obviously she decided Tom winning was like her best shot at being ahead of the brothers and stuff and being in a better position of power. But
I'll say this. I do think her finding out it's Tom was maybe a major factor in the decision to go against Kendall.
For sure, it is. And that's why I wish it would have, like, if they could have just given us one scene where it's like her looking at Tom, or like somehow they show that she's thinking about the Tom part of that, and she's like thinking about that. We don't even get something like that. It's just literally she's like, fuck you, Tom, I want you to lose. And then they go to the vote and she votes against Kendall. It's like, you didn't even give us a scene that she's contemplating her options. Like, nothing. You didn't give us anything. It's just like she's gung-ho on Kendall's side, and then she's the last vote and she doesn't want to do it. Like, that's what I didn't like. That's all. Because I definitely knew someone at that table that Kendall thought was going to say yes was going to say no. That's just the vibe. You knew it. Or, I don't know. Yeah. That's what I thought, I guess. I guess you'd never know. But that was exactly what I thought was going to happen. And I think they wanted us to think it was going to be Roman. I think that was definitely the vibe they were kind of giving us, that Roman is going to be the one to back out or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of just goes with whatever. That's the thing. That's the funny thing about like Roman's development and that final scene with him in the bar and laughing, is that really he never cared about any of that shit until he was made to. And he sort of just goes with whatever. I mean, he very easily, there's an alternate version of that show where Roman never gets involved in any of that stuff. I mean, you know what I mean?
He's like, just like rich boy with a fucking mental illness.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, all of those people, the deal went through, they all just made an ass load of money.
Yep.
Like, I mean, none of them need any of that shit.
Nope.
Really, Tom is the only person who kind of does need that, right? To continue living the life that he lives. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think for, you know, the funny thing about Shiv has always been that in terms of politically, she aligns more with the viewer of the show, I would imagine. Like most of the people watching the show politically align more to center left,
yes.
Right? I mean, It's not like, I don't imagine Republicans are lining up to watch Succession the same, you know, because it's so critical of their ideals. So Shiv aligns more with the viewer in terms of ideals and thoughts. The thing that's funny about Shiv is that she's also like a power grabber, right? I mean, that's just true. So I think, you know, the only reason I'm okay with not having a scene where she thinks about it too much is because really the entire last season is her thinking about it. I mean, like, she's torn between the fact that both of her brothers are kind of dubious moral characters with, like, clearly willing to throw the country into disarray to further their own agendas. And so, like, that's her thinking about it. But also it's really split between her desire to do better than them in terms of, you know, moral responsibility, but also power grab, like furthering her own agenda kind of thing. So
yeah,
I think it's well telegraphed that she would make that decision. It just comes at the very last second, like the last possible second, which I think is funny.
Yeah, no, I agree. The whole season is sort of, like you're saying, her thinking about it, but that's what kills me about the last episode. And to be clear, overall, I love the last episode, just specifically how they did her at that moment. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that whole episode was about how she is no longer on Madsen's side. So yeah. I don't know. It's just, it was fine though. I really like the part where Kendall says, "Oh, I didn't kill anybody." You know, that whole thing was just so perfectly done, because you know at that moment it's over. First of all, like, he has now crossed the line in terms of like they'll never trust him again. They don't know what's real about this guy anymore. And then just us as the viewer knowing immediately how hard he just fucked up by saying that, because oh man, that was just so perfectly done.
Yeah.
And I mean, how dare they even throw that in his face too? God, it's such a good moment. But whoever said it, like, oh, you can't be, you've killed somebody. Like, they should have never fucking said that to him. That's so fucked. But
yeah. I mean, it is true though. On some level, like, a person who did that and can't acknowledge it shouldn't be given the responsibility of that on a base level, but also, logistically, if you think about it, if that was ever discovered, which, I I mean, things like that happen all the time,
exactly,
right? And get discovered.
Right.
That ruins the company. So, I mean, it's an interesting choice, and whatever. I mean, they really brought it up more on a personal level.
Exactly. It wasn't about the realism of how serious it was. It was about like, fuck you. We're just going to dig deep and hurt you right now. Like,
yeah. But I mean, they were right also. And I mean, you know, what's his name? Roman at the end being like, dude, we're bullshit. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, that's, I mean, that's true. That's the deciding, you know, that's the truth of it all. They've been pretending the whole time.
Yep.
You're not serious.
Have you heard about the final scene and what it was supposed to be, but they changed it? Yeah,
Kendall, like, he did a few takes, and in one of them he was like going to jump over the edge or something.
He attempts to kill himself, and the bodyguard or whoever was there following him stops him.
I like that less, only because like I think the funny thing about Kendall is, I mean, this is whatever. I mean, he clearly has, they all have like emotional issues and, you know, psychological problems, but like the thing about Kendall that's true is that he overreacts to everything in the moment and then finds a way to continue, right? Finds a way to stay deluded, but also move forward. And in this particular case, like, it's not hard to imagine a year goes by and he finds something else to obsess over. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like
he's going to move on to something else. I like that they didn't show the attempted like suicide or whatever, but
I don't think that really fits the narrative.
But that being said, the final shots with him and being followed by the dude and it not leading up to anything also feels kind of weird. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah. I don't even mean it in a bad way. It just does. You kind of do get the feeling when you see him walking and then it keeps close shotting him and the guy following him. It's like, what's about to happen here? You just get the vibe that like they're about to interact somehow, but then nothing happens and it just ends. It's like, okay, that was weird, but whatever.
The fun thing about, you know, I mean, I've had a lot of complaints about that show the last couple seasons in terms of just things not happening and then a bunch of things happening all at once and then a bunch of shit not happening, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think the truth of Succession and the reason it's so good is that it does the thing that prestige shows fail at, which is that it's okay with not telling you everything, with not giving you all the details, with not letting the viewer have everything they want in terms of knowledge and understanding and not knowing if something is true. Characters will say things all the time that are not true and, or, you know, or whatever, or could be or could not be. Right. I mean, like Shiv and Tom's relationship is left misunderstood by everyone, you know, each other, the viewers, I mean, it's TV shows get that wrong so often where they feel the need to just be tidy with those things, right? Like, this is your character development and here it is. And we're feeding it to you, you know?
Yeah.
And I think those scenes, those ending scenes are proof that it's a worthwhile show, which is that they're okay with not giving you anything, even at the very end. It's the most Mad Men ending I could have imagined for that show, where it's just, you know, in media res is when you start a thing in the middle of something, like in the middle of an event.
Could you imagine if the show had ended with the vote, like, but us not getting the final vote? It like ends on Shiv not making the decision, but she's about to. We just don't get to see what she says. That would have been fucking wild.
I mean, they could have. Yeah, and even that somehow is still a little bit too much fandom, right? I mean, like that's a little too interesting of a cliffhanger.
Oh, I'd be going crazy if I didn't know how it went. But
yeah. I mean, it's. I think, you know, that the way they chose to end it is respectable. To the quality of the program. So I like that. I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Mad Men so much, and in a good way. I mean, it was very like.
Yeah, I really want to rewatch Mad Men now. Like I am dying to watch that again.
It just ends, right? I mean, that's like The Sopranos is another good one. I mean, you know, same thing. It's like it just ends. So, Yeah. Good show. Good show. Glad it's over.
Yeah.
Glad it's over before they could fuck it up really bad, you know?
Yep.
Because everyone does, always, eventually, right? I mean, that's the thing, is eventually you fuck it up. So you got to end it at the right time. What else did you want to talk about? What's next on your agenda?
Well, I don't know. Street Fighter 6 is good. There we go.
So Diablo 4. No, I'm kidding. Tell me about Street Fighter 6. Anyone who knows me knows I do not care at all about fighting games. But
yeah, this is just a good one. I'm only just kind of, scratching the surface of it, but it feels really good. It looks really good. The way they've done like the lobbies. It's I think a lot of fighting games kind of do this now, but maybe I'm wrong. I know a few do though, where it's like the lobby is like you're the character in the lobby and you walk around and like interact with the things. So you do that, and
I feel like the first time I remember that was it Fighter Z did that. I remember, or
that was the first time I saw it. I don't know if they started that, but that was the first time I saw it for sure. And it's just like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you walk around the lobby and interact with the people and do fights and whatever. So, but the way it's set up is like the places where you fight are arcade cabinets. So you and someone else sit down at the cabinet, and then you'll go into the match. But other people can spectate, right? And if someone's winning at the arcade cabinet, a number appears above the cabinet for their win streak, and it gets like bigger and bigger and like flashier the more wins you have. So people in the whole lobby start to see, oh, there's someone undefeated over there. Like I'm gonna.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really well designed, and then the character customization is really really good. Not quite like Wild Hearts, which fuck that game at this point, but the character customization in that game was insane to say the least. But yeah, the character customization is really good. A lot of different like variety, and you can edit literally every like piece of your body. Like I made a tall, skinny white dude, and the game clearly doesn't want you to do that. It's like no matter how hard you try, you're like almost always shredded as fuck, but you can get it down to just like a skinny white dude that's not shredded if you try hard enough, and it doesn't look weird. It's just really intricate. You can edit everything about your character except for like your dick, and maybe you can make a bigger bulge, and I just didn't see it. But yeah, it's good. It feels really good. The new characters are fucking awesome. The new versions of the old characters are fucking awesome. Yeah, it's just a good fighting game. I'm really, really proud of them.
I saw people online complaining about how into feet this game is.
I don't know what that means.
Like Quentin Tarantino style. Like especially, I guess, Jury has a lot of foot-related emotes and taunts.
Oh, well, she's a kicker character, so that's fair enough. But
was it Jury or
Jury? Yeah.
Is there another? Let me look this up while I. Yeah.
There's a few characters that have nothing but kicks.
Okay, yeah, it is Jury. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it feels good. I'm really proud of them after how much I did not like Street Fighter V. This is just fucking amazing feeling, and the style, like visual style of it, is so 10 out of 10. Sometimes I'm just getting my ass beat and I don't even care because it looks so fucking cool. I'm just like, god damn.
It looks like a beautiful game. I mean, I always, whenever a prestige fighting game comes out that looks really nice and people are really excited by, I always get a little bit swept up in the desire to get into it. I'm like, oh, is this the time finally, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not. No. It never is. It really never is the time. So.
But I would also love to talk about Diablo.
Yes. So, well, two questions for you about Street Fighter. One, before we move on, what platform are you playing it on?
I'm on PS5. It is crossplay though. Me and Marcel were
Okay.
playing last night. He's on PC.
Okay, nice. Are you a fighting stick person or a gamepad person?
No, I just use controller. I don't
Okay.
like the big gamepad fight stick things at all.
Okay, here, got it. Have you touched the story mode?
Not yet. I want to.
Okay.
I want to. It's really good practice. Or at least in Street Fighter 4, which I played a copious amount of. It's really hard, so it's really good practice.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Give me your definitive Street Fighter franchise ranking.
Ooh. Damn. I think this is the best one so far. I really want to see how they end up handling DLC and characters and stuff, because that's where 5 really, really dropped the ball. Aside from it not feeling as good or looking as stylistic as 4, where this is where 6 really is shining. It feels really good, and just the style is through the fucking roof. 5 like didn't feel as good and didn't look as cool stylistically, and then on top of that, they fucking butchered the starting roster, and the DLC rosters were like all really good, but all really expensive and spread out like ridiculously. So
Okay.
they've already nailed the starting roster, has a lot of the classic characters that you would want, and then all the new ones are fucking awesome. So I'm just kind of hoping they nail the first like season pass, and it's not really small or really expensive or doesn't take like 3 years to happen, but I think they have a pretty good development timeline. It seems already worked out. They've really put a lot of love and attention and thought into how they want to release this game, and I think they're fucking nailing it. So
Nice.
yeah,
Good to hear.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those franchises that needs to be around forever, I think. Like if Street Fighter ever went away, video games are done. I think.
Or fighting games somehow are done. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Which there for a while it seemed like might happen.
Yeah, they're surprisingly niche, considering
Yeah.
how much I like consider them like a staple of the video game like industry is like the fighting game genre. But yeah, they are surprisingly niche.
I think they very much used to be a core focus of
Back in the
hobby.
day, I mean, like when we were kids, fighting games were like almost a majority of the game industry. Is like Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Street Fighter, King of Fighters, fucking et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Like there were so many fighting games, and they were all big names in the game industry.
Yeah, I think like pre 360 era fighting games were some of the primary ways that you connected with friends. Co-op was a thing, but I mean, it was, you would just get together and infinitely play the same fighting games over and over again. So
Yeah. It's funny too how Smash Bros like kind of dominated in its own way. It like was the number one fighting game. I don't know the numbers of fighting games, but I imagine Smash Bros is probably like top 3 selling, right? Maybe number 1.
I don't
Nintendo?
know. I mean,
Yeah, me either, actually.
maybe.
It's just so popular.
Yeah. I mean, it's
The Switch does that thing where, it's on the Switch, big numbers.
software sales. Number 1 with a bullet, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Then what, like Mortal Kombat?
Then Street Fighter 2.
Oh, get fucked, Mortal Kombat, you fucking nerds.
This is just units, by the way. So, I mean, older games obviously have kind of an advantage. Then it's 3DS,
True.
Wii U, Smash Bros.
That's fucking wild. What?
Which, I mean, they're combining 3DS and Wii U sales, which is kind of cheating. Except if they just had Wii U, it'd be like 7 copies. But
I think like 20.
Yeah. I mean, 3DS was the most popular device, I think.
Yeah,
ever,
until the Switch.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Then Mortal Kombat 11, number 4. So
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So respectable. I mean, and that's 15 million units, by the way. Mortal Kombat 11.
Yep.
But it's funny. Street Fighter 2 has 15.5 million, and then that's number 2. Number 1 has double that.
Yeah, dude. Isn't that crazy?
So I hate Smash. Can I talk about how much I hate Smash?
I guess. Can we just start here? You don't like fun. It's okay. Smash Bros is fun.
I just no, but the problem is that no one is allowed to have fun when you play Smash because, like, I'll use a recent example. I was in Florida visiting my family, and I spent some time at Jacob's house, and there were a bunch of people there, and they all wanted to play Smash, but they all wanted to do no items Final Destination. That is not fucking fun.
No, that's not fun.
I'm sorry, but that is not the point. The point of Smash Bros used to be the chaos.
Yeah. If you take out all the fun and then put the most bland stage, it's literally just like, what are we doing? Like ranked 1v1? Like, let's fucking...
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's all they were doing. They were just taking turns doing 1v1s.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not... No. But also, though, that like group of friends, like our PCB friends, love fighting games more than I do, and I like fighting games, but they play Fighter Z all the time and get all sweaty and all that shit. Like, I casually engage with fighting games. Like, I know it's a weird thing to say because just by nature they're not casual experiences, to be honest. Well, Smash Bros may be excluded as like the most casual one, but like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, Fighter Z, all that stuff, Soul Calibur, like I love those games, but at like a very casual level. As soon as someone starts sweating all over me, it's like not the same game. I just like to jump in, fucking press buttons and see pretty colors like fly all over the place. But
man, Smash Bros ruined itself. Like by allowing this weird sicko contingent of people to exist, it has destroyed any interest I have in that franchise. I mean, it makes me mad just thinking about it. I don't know. I can't. Nintendo fan bases are half the reason why Nintendo sucks. They're like Disney. They're like true. Disney adults of the video game world.
Maybe. I don't know. I like to think Nintendo's part of the
they play into it. They play into it for sure. But I mean, just like Disney.
Yeah, fair. All right, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you? They're making a fucking assload of money.
Right, I mean, exactly. Yeah.
And just it's funny, and I haven't even played Tears. I bought Tears of the Kingdom and haven't even started it. But it's funny how it's massively popular and everyone like the fervor around that game is insane, but also it seems like a well-made product and like a quality video game in its own right, outside of all the sicko shit. Like something that you could just have no context for. You could have never played a Zelda game. You could not even like Nintendo. You could do whatever and boot that up and have a great time. Smash, it requires you to be a sicko. It prefers that you are. And I don't like that.
I think I know what you mean. It is always really painful to watch a group of like Smash Bros players try to pull someone in that like either doesn't play it that much or hasn't played it that much or has never played it. And then they're like, you'll be fine. A button does this, B button does this. This is how you jump. And then person is not fine and is just absolutely like getting dunked on. And has
then
no
they start
concept.
Wave dashing and you're like, all right, well, I guess I'll go fuck myself. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
and
right.
whatever. You kind of have to be a sicko a little bit too.
On some level, fighting games are always like that. But
yeah,
I mean,
right.
I don't know. It's fuck. All right.
Diablo.
Okay. Diablo 4 is really good. I didn't play any of the betas, so let me just say that. I did that consciously. I was like, I don't need this. I'm already going to play it anyway.
Right.
I didn't like Diablo 3 very much.
Nope.
It's the same problem I have with Destiny, where something about Diablo 3 felt perfunctory. It was like going through the motions playing that game. Everything felt flaccid and underdeveloped in Diablo 3. The story, most of all. But more than that, moving around the world, going through a dungeon, everything was just, you could do it asleep, it seemed like.
Yeah, and it usually put you to sleep.
It did. Diablo 4 is like the developer's visceral reaction to Diablo 3.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, everything about this game is so much more interesting. The world, the lore, the writing, the abilities, the skills, the
progression feels good.
Yeah, progression. I'm playing on the world tier 2 difficulty. I think, to me, I mean, I read that and I was like, I read it as 2 being normal difficulty, right? That was kind of what I thought. So I was like, all right, I'm doing this.
Yeah, tier 1 is like for the kids. Like, here you go, son. You can survive. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like the way that they verbalize it in this select screen is that by doing tier 2, you get extra benefits, right? I mean, it's like increased experience, better loot, that kind of thing. Like so they do try to spin it as like a harder mode, but in reality, like playing it, I was like, this is the right amount of difficulty.
Right. Yeah.
What I didn't know was that I picked hard mode because I picked a rogue.
Oh.
And that turned out to be an interesting choice. I mean, I don't think it's too hard or unfair, but I mean, I played a little bit with Tyler last night and he's a necromancer.
Yeah.
And
he's probably walking right. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, he just rolls around and sends everything to Bone Zone. Yeah.
With the minion army behind him, like just.
Yeah. Like he stands, there's like a meme out there. I can't even remember. It was like a TikTok meme where it's like, somebody like super aggressive music's playing and they're like, and then it's like and then it cuts to like a super calm song and everybody's like, that's like me and versus Tyler. Like playing the rogue in this game, I'm like 100 APM, like fucking spacebar dodging and like slamming all the keys and like using all my health potions and shit like that. And then Tyler is literally standing stock still. Yeah. And all of his skeletons are just murdering everything.
Yeah, corpse explosion.
Yeah, so
don't pick barbarian. It's like the same.
Yeah, and I mean on some level, like when you play a melee class, you kind of expect that. Like you're going to be doing a lot more maneuvering.
Right.
But it's pretty hilarious with Rogue. I just got to a point where the power curve is slightly moving in my direction. Like I'm in glass cannon territory now where I'm obliterating everything, but the things I don't obliterate me.
Yeah.
So, but it's pretty interesting. It's challenging enough to keep me engaged. The amount of experience that you get is pretty interesting because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is level 50 the cap?
I don't know what the cap is, but you kind of start to hit a wall around 20. You'll notice you're not leveling up as fast the closer you get to 20. And then I assume after 20, it must be a decent bit slower. But
so I'm at 22 now.
Okay.
And I haven't progressed the story really much. I'm doing all of the menial tasks anyone will give me. They're like, oh my God, the world is ending. And I'm like, okay. But what if I helped this woman find her husband?
Yep.
You know, like, so.
Is that the one where he was like tied up and like falling apart or whatever it was?
Yeah,
You
he had
know?
been
Yeah.
skinned.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was. I was like, good for you, buddy.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, there's the side quests are engaging, even if the actions that you take in them are not different from Diablo 3. You know what I
right.
mean? Go
It
to
just feels
place,
better too.
kill
Just
things, but
and one.
everything feels better. It's more
Yeah.
readable somehow. Like the action feels more readable to me.
Yep.
I like that it popped up the accessibility options at the very beginning, because it made, like, I read through them all and was like, I actually kind of want this, and I checked the one where it highlights your character permanently. So like there's a green aura around my character at all times, which I think helps me figure out where the fuck I am.
Definitely did better with like just how much visual noise on screen, or somehow you're able to like determine what's going on much better in 4 compared to 3 for sure. Where 3 was a lot of visual noise on screen when action started popping off. 4 is definitely just better designed. It's
I like the grittier tone as well.
Yeah.
Like everything is like extremely hilariously over the top depressing in a way. It's like a metal album. Like like it looks like an album cover all the time, and also like everyone is just so brooding and so upset about everything, like even the most menial shit, like, you know. I like the first town that you go to, they drug you and almost murder you. That's hilarious.
Oh, you helped us, now let us help you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's have a party. I'm like, uh-oh. It's just, it feels nice to play. The loot is scaled down enough that you're not constantly teleporting back to town, I think, which is nice. Like, I'm getting less and less trash than past Diablo games, I think. I don't know, maybe you disagree with that.
No, I think it's fine. I guess I don't really know I don't know how to gauge that per se, but I would say I usually go back to town after like a quest in a dungeon or so, like so I'm not bothered by it, and always being able to go back and then teleport exactly where you were, even if you're in a dungeon or whatever, is just so great.
It's clutch. Yeah. Diablo 3 did that also. I remember thinking that in Diablo 3 I was teleporting back constantly. Like I would I would clear like 3 rooms and I'd be like, all right, I have trash to sell. Part of that's on me. I pick up everything.
Yeah, me too. It's hard not to.
Yeah, but also you move around by clicking.
Yeah,
clicking also picks things up.
About that because I play on console, so I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you're just constantly picking shit up, like whether you intend to or not. So, I mean, that's just how it goes. But it's extremely fun. I think the way that they structure the dungeons is a bit more satisfying as well. Like, some of them are long, some of them are short, but you can never really tell what you're getting, and like they handle multiple paths really nicely. So like it doesn't feel like
you're gonna backtrack the dungeon twice, basically. Yeah, exactly.
Like they make it like offshoots are sensible. The open world design of it, I wasn't sure how I would feel. So the first time I got into a place and I saw another player, I was like,
I like it. I like that I can just walk up to a world event that like 2 or 3 players are doing. I can hop in and get some loot real quick, and then we all go about our way.
I agree. I ended up enjoying it. The way they handle co-op and everything, like everything scales to whatever level you are, regardless of whose game you're in.
I was wondering how they did all that stuff. I feel like when this type of thing is in a video game where like it sort of balances out higher and lower level players to sort of be on an even playing field, I hear a similar complaint from players. It's just like, then what's even the point of progression? It all means nothing. And I'm like, no, I feel the opposite, that this is like genius design, like being able to hop in with higher level players and them not murder everything in one shot before I even get to play the game. Because I'm at this level, or the opposite where I can't touch any of the things because they're all his level. Right. I love when developers are able to balance everything out like that. I think it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. Like, you do have moments in this game where like the lowest level enemy always scales up to you, on some level, right? Like, you're never going to run into a level 1 enemy in Diablo, because it's always going to be at least your level.
Yeah.
But the amount of skill points you've assigned and your gear score goes up. Your average damage does still increase. Like the weakest, ghoul mob at this point, I can decimate in a second, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which is what the progression really is, because I have a skill that does that. It's not the stats or the the raw level number. It's the abilities, the way you've allocated things, the way you've chosen to build your character.
Right.
It's a good game. It's a really good game. I'm kind of a little bit sad about that because I am not going to be able to play it for a couple of weeks. So I'm now like in that mode where I'm like, fuck, I'm going to fall out of it, but it'll be okay. I'll get back in there. Like what you said about Street Fighter, what's really going to be the deciding factor for this game is the long-term support.
Yep.
Destiny is a obviously example of what not to do with one of these games in terms of long-term support. I think, but on the flip side, I actually think, with the exception of early on with Diablo 3, I think people generally thought that the support for Diablo 3 was good.
Yeah. At least, like, of its time. I know sort of we're in an era now where we kind of expect more for an ongoing game. But at the time, I think so, yeah.
And they did one big expansion with Reaper of Souls, which I, of course, also played. And I would really like Diablo 4 to take more of an MMO path. And it seems like they might do that, where there's more annual content expansions. So just every year there's just a new big chunk. But who knows? I mean, they could do whatever the fuck they want. And it'll still be probably fine. But I don't know. I mean, the way they've designed the map, they could add additional continents and things like that easily if they wanted to. I don't know. But good game. Very, very much.
Are you thinking you're going to try out some other classes, or kind of just go through it as a rogue?
I'll probably go... I'll get to whatever the cap is first as a rogue, I think. But I did make a druid already, just to like have it ready to go. But I mean, the nice thing about repeat class stuff is that like there are persistent unlockables that you get for all of your characters. You know what I mean? So like playing through certain stuff in the game as one character unlocks certain things for all of your characters, which is nice. Or like provides stat bonuses and stuff like that for all your characters. Yeah. So they really incentivize you to have multiple playthroughs as well, which is cool. I mean, honestly, the core loop is so satisfying that, I mean, unless the thing for me is always that there's more shit to be played. So I'm constantly pulled away by other games. So it really depends on how the rest of the year goes in that regard. But I mean, this could be the Elden Ring of the year. You know what I mean? Where it's just, I keep going back to it for the rest of the year. And I mean, we have September is a big month. So
it is, that's the Armored Core month, right? Get Armored Core and what's Starfield. That other big one? Oh yeah, Starfield, but that's not even what I was thinking about. There's another big game. I can't think of it, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah, September's going to be huge. This month and September are like the two big chunks that I know about. I can't believe Final Fantasy 16 comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that is fucked up, actually. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's go look.
Yeah, there's Armored Core, Starfield, and something else. 3 really big ones coming out in September. And then a bunch of other not as big, but still really important games.
And then Final Fantasy 16 comes out on the 22nd.
Yeah. Happy birthday to somebody we know.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, Mercedes the 21st. I think Tran is too. And then somebody's the 22nd. It might be Alyssa.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I can't remember.
Nice.
We have a lot of friend birthdays that week, though. It's funny.
Yeah, that would be. And it's funny because, like, with the way that I'm gone, like, I'll be coming back on the 16th. So I'll be back in time for that. So that means I have, like, 4 days to play through all of Diablo. Get ready.
Well, I'll be down. So those 4 days, you hit me up, bro.
Perfect. Hell yeah. Let's see. What were we talking about? We were wondering what is coming out in September.
Yeah.
Starfield is September 6th.
Okay. Damn. God.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat 1 is September 19th.
Okay. Wow.
There's a new IS game.
Really?
IS X Nordics.
The 10th one, huh?
That's it for that. That's it for September. October, we get Assassin's Creed Mirage on the 12th.
Wait. I was thinking of August. Armored Core is in August.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, August 25th.
What else is in August? It's notable.
Baldur's Gate 3.
That was it. Baldur's Gate 3. I was like, damn, dude, Divinity 3 already?
Yeah, we got to play through that. I think you, me, and B-Paul could make that happen. Lies of P supposedly also in August, but TBD.
That's happening?
Supposedly.
No fucking way.
According to this Wikipedia article.
Hell yeah, dude. I can't believe that's actually coming out.
It's going to be bad. I'm telling you.
I am hopefully optimistic, but
October 12th, Assassin's Creed Mirage. October 13th, Lords of the Fallen. October 17th, Alan Wake 2.
There we go.
All right. So there's your release date check-in. I feel like we do those once a month. But I mean, honestly, like it feels like it kind of becomes clearer and clearer what's coming out when every month that goes by. So
yeah.
I mean, for me, Starfield is really the biggest thing.
Oh yeah, I seriously cannot wait to play that in a way I can't even fully describe.
Armored Core I am excited about, but I have played Armored Core games in the past, and it was never... I liked them. It never hooked me that much, so...
Yeah, I think Armored Core will be cool. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm glad it's happening, I think is how I ultimately feel about it.
Me being forced to acknowledge that Baldur's Gate 3 comes out on August 31st and then Starfield comes out on September 6th makes me physically sick. Like that's too close.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's my issue with Diablo and Final Fantasy. I'm just like, why did y'all do this to me?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, a month is enough time. Kind of.
It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's actually like 20 days or something, but
yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like next time we talk, we'll have played Final Fantasy a little bit.
Probably. I hope so. Yeah. I hope I like that game. I'm so worried I'm not going to like it, but
yeah, I mean, I kind of feel that way too. I think if the story is good enough, it'll pull me through.
Yeah, and apparently the writing is really good. So,
I mean, the Final Fantasy 14 for an MMO has a great story. I mean, not even just for an MMO. It's got a good story. I mean, the way it's told is very MMO-like, which is a detriment to it.
Right. Yeah, and all the reviews and stuff praise the writing a lot, so that's a good sign.
I'm into it. Let's tie a bow on this, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah,
I've had some additional time to think about Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
Those games, I think Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, I talked about this in the Lost Tapes, but I think they are both too similar and also too different, much like God of War versus God of War Ragnarok. In retrospect, I think the simple story of Jedi Fallen Order is a benefit to that game overall. Jedi Survivor has a lot going on, a lot more going on, a lot more characters, and it tends to drag, and the pacing feels weird because of that. But
yeah,
the one thing I think that I can't get out of my head is that I enjoyed my time with Jedi Survivor more overall, except for the fact that Jedi Survivor can't be its own game anymore. Remember you finished Fallen Order and you were like, that could be it. You know what I mean? Like, they could have never made another one.
Yeah.
Like, that could have been the end. It's easy to see that being the case. Jedi Survivor ends in a way that they can't stop now. Like, they couldn't end it there. That story would have to continue somehow. It doesn't have to be a video game. They could make a Disney Plus show, I guess. But now they're forced to go on. And that kind of sucks, I think. But whatever. They had the chance. They set up a very final ending. They had the chance. Not even in Fallen Order. They obviously had the chance to leave it there. But in Survivor, there is a kernel of like a final ending in there for these characters in a way that would very neatly remove them from any of the stories that are being told now.
Yeah.
Like, they could have done this because the story hinges around a planet that is impossible to navigate to by traditional means. Like, it's like the stupid ass Exegol thing from
I hate that.
But you know what? Fair enough. Space is weird and confusing. So fair enough. I mean, I fine. It works. Literally the entire narrative of Jedi Survivor is trying to reach a planet that you see in a vision that the Jedi built a temple on, thinking it would be a perfect place to hide, and then they were betrayed by someone who led a group there, basically, is like the gist of it.
Yeah.
But so the option is there to get there and establish characters there and let that game put those characters on ice, right?
Yeah.
Like they could be there in perpetuity and they would never encounter any of the other
just sunset the story there
from Star Wars. Yeah. And and the game ends by you going there, killing the primary antagonist, who is like it's a big plot twist that you'll see coming from 3 million miles away, and then they wait so long to do it that you'll forget that you saw it coming, and then it catches you off guard again. But you go there, you kill that guy. He has a daughter, which is hilarious. Spoilers for Jedi Survivor, by the way. He has a daughter, which is hilarious because she's there. It's just the two of them on that planet. You kill him, and then you take the daughter. And what's funny is that the game lets you continue to explore any places you haven't been yet. Uh-huh. So she's just on your ship now, just chilling. For like non-story stuff. You know what I mean? So you're just like flying around planet to planet and the daughter's just there. I have not been back to the saloon to see if she hangs out in the saloon or not. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to do that, but it's just so clunky the way that they wrap that up. And there are some like emotional beats, and like the way things happen like I like that Respawn, even though they're writing a Star Wars story, they don't shy away from the fact that horrible things happen to people. So like the main villain, you kill the two main villains before this guy does his like heel turn, and both of them have like pretty good character arcs and backstories, and like they make sense as who they are, in a way that's cool. And you kill them pretty mercilessly, and then this final guy, you like try to let him live. You're like, think about your daughter. Like, do you? I mean, come on. Do you want your daughter to be an orphan? And he's like, who's gonna protect her? You. And then he like freaks out and whatever. So he like seems beaten, and then in the final cutscene, he's like, no, like I'm not gonna let this happen. And he like goes to do something, and just take like Cal. I love it because one of the stances that you unlock is like blaster and lightsaber simultaneously, which is just the best. Like I was using that like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And in the final cutscene, he fucking just blasts that dude. Like just like he tries to pull some shit and he just blasts him, and it like shoots him, and he goes down, and he's like, ugh! it's like Ready or Not. Like he's like choking out.
Yeah.
And then Cal like kind of walks up and just double taps him. And I was like, what?
Yo,
like
this
this
metal as fuck.
Like this isn't Jedi shit. Like what are you doing, man? But it's funny because like, I mean, he seems distraught after. Like he's like pretty upset about it all. And I mean that, and Seer dies at the hands of Darth Vader in a way that ties directly into this character's betrayal. I hate the Darth Vaders in this game, but whatever. And Master, what's his name? Master Junda, the guy that you
Something
find the
like
recordings of in that, he shows up, by the way. He's just like, hey, I've been here the whole time.
No.
And he also dies at the hands of this betraying character. So
Yeah.
they have like a Return of the Jedi style burial where they burn the three bodies, like like Seer, Junda, and then the guy who betrays you.
Yeah.
And so, they stand there and do the funeral and all that. And the whole time Cal seems pretty fucked up, but
Yeah.
but I don't know. I liked it. There could have been a lot less of it, and I would have been okay with that. But I did enjoy it. And in terms of quality of Star Wars stories, I mean, we're getting slop these days. So this is, by comparison, this is like a fucking T-bone steak, I mean, it's well written. There's a side quest where Boba Fett shows up, and that pissed me off also, but I don't know. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
And he's voiced by the guy, so I mean, fuck it,
Yeah. Huh.
And you don't fight him, by the way. Like,
Nice. You should.
He's like, you're not my bounty, and then like, moves on. That kind of thing. But I don't know. Yep. Jedi Survivor. Get it, I guess. I don't know.
Get it on sale.
You're not going to play it. Watch a playthrough of it. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, no, I probably will play it, but I'll probably do what I did with the first one and wait for it to be $10.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I have the EA thing, so
yeah,
I just do it that way.
That's the way.
I don't need to own video games anymore. I really don't.
Honestly, dude, what's even the point? I've had a lot of issues lately with digital licenses on PlayStation, and
really,
it'll do this thing where it like can't verify that I have the license because of some weird disconnect between like my console and then like the PlayStation's network. Even though it'll say it's all connected and everything's good, it's like it can't verify that I have the licenses for some reason, and I literally won't have access to my shit for like a few days until it figures out that I actually did buy them. And I'm like, this is the most horrible modern day era like bug that could possibly exist in the digital space. Like, fuck this.
That is really, I have not heard of that. That's extremely strange.
Yeah, it's kind of a niche issue because there's not that many like Google, solutions. People that have went through it in like 2020, so they don't have like the fix I need because that fix was different. Like I have a 3 years later issue of this happening, so it's like completely different.
Yeah, and it's funny because consoles are supposed to be the easier version of all of this. So, I mean, that's like an issue that you would run into on PC or something.
Right. Yeah. No, it's really annoying. Especially because like it was happening when I was playing Fortnite, and I'm like, this is literally a free game. Like, I understand you need to verify my license, but at the same time, go fuck yourself. Like, let me just play Fortnite.
I'll wrap these up quickly. I did play some Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. If you like Doom and Warhammer, that game is really good. It's extremely satisfying. If you just wanted to, I mean, if you want to see some horrific violence, every time you press the taunt key, he says a different line. It's like
get over here.
No, it's even better. It'll be like, the Emperor cleanses your filth, like shit like that, or like, I am bathed in the light of justice, like shit like that. Yeah. It's really good. And what's even better is that they apparently recorded like 4 hours of those taunts. I have never heard the same one twice.
Wow.
Despite
spamming it.
I mean, it fucking rules.
That's cool.
And the guy who voices the Marine is Rahul Kohli.
Oh, wow.
So
that's fucking cool.
It's awesome. It's great. He's having a good time with it. Like, he's just screaming his ass off about the Emperor. So I recommend it. It's pretty cheap, and if you feel like getting your boomer shooter fix, jumping around, fucking blowing shit up, it's pretty challenging too. I'm playing on the medium difficulty, middle difficulty, and I got to a boss room where I didn't die, but I got sweaty. I was like, oh god, I gotta sit up and take this serious. I've played 5 hours of Rainbow Six Vegas this week.
Random.
I fucking loved that game when I was younger. And I was like, you know what? I bet this holds up. And I was fucking right. That game is sick. It runs great on modern hardware. Very minimal glitches. Everything works. Also, you know what? This is going to send me on a bit of a thing, so bear with me. Companion AI in that game is amazing. In a way that makes me curious what happened with games. Like the AI in that game is almost more efficient at killing people than you are. Because remember, you like issue commands and stuff, and I like send them into a room and they're just like, beep, 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 like headshot after headshot. And I'm like, dude, how are you guys doing this? And it's cool. It's nice to have like characters that are competent on your side.
Yeah, you can. That's funny you say that. This is not anywhere near as good, but it did catch me off guard. You can like hire NPCs in Fortnite to be on your team.
Oh, nice.
And get like a +1. Yeah, which is really crazy. But they're pretty mediocre. They're not like absolutely busted or anything, but they do randomly decide sometimes that they'll pick you up if you get downed.
Hell yeah.
And the first time that happened to me, I was just like, oh my god, this is fucking great. This guy's actually doing something useful. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think AI is one of those things that we always say each generation should become substantially better with like more compute power and things like that at our disposal. But I mean, the truth is that it's difficult to code, right? I mean, but I think we haven't yet seen, like, squad-based shooters went like out of vogue like 2 console generations ago, so like we haven't seen a Rainbow Six Vegas 3. But if we did, would the AI be noticeably better? I am not sure. It's really good.
Yeah.
Even the enemy AI, everything about it is just, it's just a well-made video game, man. They were popping off when they made Rainbow Six Vegas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw that there was a content drop for Dark Tide.
Ready or not? Ah, God damn it.
Maybe there was for Ready or Not. I actually don't know. I haven't looked in a while. There was also a huge one for Hell Let Loose.
I've never played that.
So one of these days I'll have to check that out, because I played a lot of that game. I have like, I don't even know. I can look and find out.
I missed the window on that one.
41 hours in Hell Let Loose.
Yeah. Y'all used to play a decent amount, little group.
Apparently on May 27th, Tyler played a bunch of it, which is weird. I don't know. Very strange. Anyway. He didn't tell me. I'm a little offended. I was not invited on that journey. You can't trust a man who plays a team-based shooter by himself. I mean, that's sick. All right, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, dude.
Good chatting.
For sure.
We will be back. It's gonna be maybe about a month, but we'll be back. Next time you hear from us, we will talk about Final Fantasy and whether or not we actually like it. So,
fingers crossed.
Peace. Do me a favor. Before did you already stop recording?
No.
Okay. Just give me a clap. Give me on I'm going to say on 3, because this will help me sync up the audio when I
was going to ask if you wanted to.
Okay. 1, so on 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Oh. All right. Let's try that again.
All right.
I'm going to keep this in now, because that's funny. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. That seemed
like
we lined
perfect
up
on my end, but
was it not?
Not on my end.
Okay.
But as long as it's perfect for you, you'll be able to sync it.
Visually, it looked like we did, but I don't know.
Visually and auditorily, those were not synced for me. But
oh, really? Okay.
It'll never be synced for both of us. One of us will always be off.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be like kind of close, but that's maybe Discord has too much delay. I wonder if there's another way we should be recording these. But I'm not sure if there's anything that's better, to be honest.
No, I think this is the best. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your plan today?
I don't know. I was gonna practice some Street Fighter at some point for sure, but now I really want to play Diablo, unfortunately. So I'm gonna maybe end up getting that or talk myself out of it and wait a couple days.
Yeah, man, we could definitely do that. I'd happily join you on that journey.
That's tempting.
I'm gonna eat and then jump back into some Diablo. But I mean, if it's, did you already pre-order it? Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it's not great. It's like a bunch of cosmetics, from what I remember. I wonder, actually, now I'm curious. Does it come with any season pass stuff? Yeah, it does. Okay, it comes with the battle pass apparently. Deluxe. I only got the deluxe. I did not get the ultimate. Um so it's premium battle pass unlock, a mount armor, some cosmetics for your character. Yeah, there are mounts. Cosmetics for your character, some kind of pet. Um yeah, you know. And then